Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into NFL Week 11 of the Mafia Bets on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. This is a Bills Mafia-based sports betting show where we're going to talk all about the Buffalo Bills matchup from last week. Maybe not the matchup this week. We're going to give you the ins and the outs, the whys, the why nots for this week's betting lines, the matchups, why you should either hammer a bet or stay as far away from it as you possibly can. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. And that guy sitting alongside me, professional sports bettor Dan Frederick, or Buffalo Freddy, as we lovingly like to call him, which is where you can find him on Twitter. Lovingly, of course. But please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Help us get our metrics up. Tell a friend if you've got a community of bettors. We have a Discord channel that actually is starting to get some really good movement in it, which is great. Inside of that kind of like couple betting channels that we have, where
it helps to hit parlays.
It does help to hit parlays. And so if you're looking for a community of dudes or guys, I don't know if there's any females in there yet, but if you're looking for a community of Bills Mafia to talk bets with, I'll drop the Discord in the comment section of this here show. But with that, my man Dan, how you feeling?
Personally, life's great.
Well, good. That's always a good thing. Life being great is a great place to start.
I might be in the worst mental spot I've been in as a Bills fan in my entire life, and that's just me being. I'm always extremely honest, right? I'm always bluntly honest.
Yes, you are.
Man, I feel so deflated as somebody who, like, I was content. I was perfectly happy as like this barbecuing, drinking, have a good time guy when during the drought, right? It was a great time. I love the Bills, die hard. I always wanted to do great, but I never had expectations, right?
Winning didn't matter. You wanted them to win, but winning didn't matter.
Now we get Josh. Now I have expectations of bringing home a Super Bowl. I really do. With Josh Allen, who is an absolute superstar. And he's just held back everywhere with everybody around him. And I think I've just come to the conclusion that with what he has in place and the regime in place, it's just not going to happen. They won't pull the triggers. And it's really frustrating. So let's just continue to pile right on the Bills here. Last week,
nice.
We hammered last week with everything that we talked about, like literally every talking about point we had on the show. Our overreaction, I talked about how Gadsden, that number was huge. He did get hurt, but he was never like hitting that number. He wasn't even close before he got hurt.
Right.
The hammer of the week hit in the first quarter. He had an absolute monster game. We laddered him as high as humanly possible. We talked about using our bonuses last week. And I tried to like use a little math to figure out how I wanted to use that in the morning of that England game. We came out with Drake London. That hit. That was a huge win for this. So we hit all this stuff here circled in red. You know what we notice about this, guys? Everything circled in red that we hit, none of it has anything to do with the Buffalo Bills.
9.5 point favorites per FanDuel, Dan Frederick.
I lose 4 or 5 parlays on here, 7,000 parlays in my personal life by taking the Bills money line. I should know better by now. I've been a Bills fan forever, but I trust Josh Allen, so I trust this team to an extent. We've said that on here.
Dan, I'm not here to call you an emotional bettor because you are not.
No.
However, the Bills have only beaten the spread once this year.
No, but the money line ain't the spread. They just need to win the game.
Oh,
how do the Bills not beat Miami? How do the Bills get their butts whooped? You go up top here, Bills game, right? A-Chain smoked that number. Holy cow. We were never winning the game for Ray Davis to get in there and get that nice number at plus 800 anytime touchdown.
No.
And let's just come out and let the other team stack the box, not do anything to help break loose James Cook whatsoever. That I love that bet of him in the first quarter over 25 yards. But when your offensive coordinator is calling things that don't make the opposing defense get out of the box, that's never going to happen. So I just don't trust this team anymore, and I really don't trust them to bet. And we'll see that coming up on all the things that we talk about.
I have nothing to say about last week's football game.
I probably shouldn't have anything to say anymore on Twitter, but yeah.
for those that might not be overly familiar with Dan and I, both of us are season ticket holders. Both of us have been season ticket holders for a very long time. So this isn't just fair weather fandom that we're just mad and blah 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 blah. Like, we are invested in this football team, and just both from an emotional standpoint and from a financial
Financially, a
standpoint.
lot. But the undertones for years and years, people that I know personally,
Yeah.
friends that I have, and people that I trust, like Joe, to talk behind the scenes, where we know we would get absolutely bashed on social
Yes.
media if we actually said anything bad about the Bills for the last, 5 years?
Right.
We've had conversations that have undertones about, do we really trust this team? Do we really trust the regime to pull the trigger? Do we really trust McDermott in a big moment? And I've been no across the board for years, and piled on anytime I've ever said it publicly. I'm right again, and I hate it. I hate that.
Well, with that, before we turn the page and look to this week's slate of games, to include the Tampa Bay Buccaneers joining Buffalo in Highmark Stadium on what looks to be a bad weather day, I want to just start with, for those that are new to the program, first of all, this is a sports gambling show for entertainment purposes. This is not financial advice at all. Please limit yourself. Make sure you're not overbetting. As Dan likes to tell everybody, you don't have to bet, right? So make sure your rent is paid. Make sure there's food on your table. Make sure your kids are taken care of. We bet, and Dan would express to you to bet the way that we do on this show in units. So we bet 100 units every single week, have a limit, and monetize those units, whether it's a penny, a nickel, a quarter, a buck, whatever it is, whatever you can afford. Afford is the key word. And if you've got a gambling problem, please seek help for that. But with that,
exactly what you don't do, guys. When you are wholeheartedly thinking that the Bills are still going to win, or a team is going to come from behind and win, don't just keep putting units on them to win and win and win. Personally, I did that a little bit last week. That was foolish. I did not do that on here, obviously.
Right.
I thought they would win that game, so I kept sprinkling a little bit as the numbers got bigger and bigger, and it just was never even close.
They had their moments. The 3 turnovers really kind of stalled that. But let's move into this week as the Buffalo Bills, like the FanDuel line currently for the the spread on this game from FanDuel is currently, I think, 5.5. The Bills are favored by 5.5, which to me is a bit of a surprise.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a big of a surprise for me. I think we do match up decent against this team. Now, again, who knows? The Bills are so hit and miss, right?
Yes.
Right now. So it's really tough to make a real prediction on this team, but I think we match up decently against them. Tampa Bay has been really bad against the run, especially like the last 6 weeks and the last 3 weeks. They've been horrible against the run. So, I mean, we would think James Cook would have a decent game. I think that maybe they let Josh Allen finally loose a little bit here. It's getting to crunch time. We have to start winning games, and that's usually when they let Josh be Josh. So that's the hope.
Yep. So what you got for us going into week 11, Buffalo Bills game 10 on the season?
All right, we got some bets here. We got Buffalo Bills star wide receiver, Josh Allen's favorite target, Brian Thomas Jr., over 52.5 yards, right? He's on our team.
He's not on our team.
He's not? He's Josh Allen in his prime. He's a superstar, right? He was available. Why wouldn't he be on our team?
You got to have a star wide receiver, that Josh Allen guy.
All right, let me look. Let me pick somebody else here. Okay. How about, this is a good one. This is a good bet. I like these odds.
All right.
We got a $14.5 million tight end for 2025 against the cap, a $17 million backup tight end in 2026. He's going to start this game. Dawson Knox anytime touchdown is plus 380. I think that's a really good odd. I'm not really here to bet the Bills at this point, but I think plus 380 for Dawson Knox is a pretty good number. I hate his cap hit. And then
I think it's important to say to that point about, like, you're not super excited to bet it. There is a great deal of, you said it earlier, mistrust in this football team right now and what to expect. And I know that we're all Bills fans and we're all emotional. And the last thing we want to do is bet against our favorite football team. But I think you would say take some prejudice and take some caution in betting Buffalo Bills players, as much as this is a
lot of money to make elsewhere. But
Bills-centric betting game or betting show. But
I will always be level-headed when I'm putting my money in anything. And Josh Allen's number one tight end right now is plus 380. And the first touchdown of the game, which if we go back to when Knox used to start and didn't have the cap hit he has, he got the first touchdown in 6 like playoff games in a row or some crap like that.
Yeah,
It was
a
wild.
lot. They're also running 12 personnel, which there's a rumor they might be back in 12 personnel
They
tomorrow.
have to. They can't run 13 with Kincaid out.
Right.
So he's plus 1,700 for the first touchdown. I think that's a little sprinkle, right?
Yeah.
All right. Our next bet.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills leader in receptions. Second round pick steal. Ladd McConkey over 5.5 receptions, right?
I know where this
Absolute
is going.
steal in the second round.
I know where all this is going.
How could you know where it's going?
Oh.
I just make this stuff up, Joe.
If anybody's been following Dan on Twitter this week, you know where this is going.
Steal of the draft. Ladd McConkey, second round. Exactly what Josh Allen needs, right? Just an absolute target monster. Over 5.5 receptions this week.
He's not a Buffalo Bill. He's not a Bill.
What about the other guy that was available we could have taken right there? Surely we have a speedster and Xavier Worthy for Josh in his prime. No? Okay.
No.
How about we go with a big slot receiver? Let's put this bet in. Big slot receiver who's done nothing but play in the boundary, Keon Coleman.
All right. That guy is on our team.
Yeah,
we have him. We have him.
Under. Let's bet Keon Coleman's under this week, 27.5 yards.
I think it's important to state at this point when you look at from the Bills PR Twitter handle, the Bills, as everybody knows, signed Mecole Hardman this week to the practice squad. They released Brandon Codrington, so you expect Hardman to probably take some special teams reps, but you're probably going to see him on the field as well in a wide receiver situation. They also elevated wide receiver Gabe Davis to the active roster for this weekend, so I would expect to see him. Khalil Shakir is also healthy. There are rumors, grumblings
for a moment.
Yep, hang on, there's rumors, grumblings out there that Keon might not play this football game.
I think that there's a lot of factors that actually make this bet possible. Now, I hate betting unders that are low like this because the potential for one catch, something happens, or hypothetically, we're playing terrible. You just have to launch it downfield like we did with Keon last week. But if Gabe plays, he's going to be playing a lot of that like inline blocker role and he probably takes some boundary receiving. Palmer's back, though. I think Palmer is basically our wide receiver one at this point in time.
I didn't see Palmer.
He
is full participant. Yep. So he is slated to play. Yep.
And then, I mean, do we think that the Bills ever react to some of the stuff that's going on social media and the tone of the fan base and just do something different just because? Like, are we going to see Khalil Shakir run some routes down the field or them try that? Because a lot of this points to Coleman going under.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to talk about Keon Coleman seeing a target, if any, if he plays.
Okay. All right. We got some more here. We got Josh Allen, monster arm, right? Launch the ball downfield. Buffalo Bills, speedster receiver. Jalen Waddle. Over. Longest reception. 26.5 yards. Of course, Josh is going to launch one down the field to him every game, right?
Dan,
need that deep threat.
Dan is all inside of the pocket of things that could have been or should have been.
Or were possible.
Here's
one. Breakout superstar this year, drafted 19th overall, that I'm sure the Buffalo Bills went up and traded maybe a future second-round pick to go get. Emeka Egbuka. Superstar player, right? Josh is going to be thrown to him this game for sure. Let's bet him, right?
Nope.
Over 4.5 receptions.
Nope. Hey, I was told I heard on the radio that we don't need wide receivers, and it's ridiculous that we're bitching about it. So
I don't think I'm bitching at all, right? No, I'm just pointing out things that were available,
things that could have been. Yeah, the world we could have lived in.
So we don't have any of these receivers, right? None of them? None of these like superstar guys who were obtainable?
We do not.
Okay, so I guess we just got to bet Josh Allen rushing because that's all that is possible at this point, right?
Yes.
Josh Allen over 33.5 rushing yards.
I would say that's probably safe, and it's probably
not
a bad weather. James Cook, you don't have. I don't think you've got a James Cook in here anywhere. You're probably staying away from. I'm surprised that you don't have some under at halftime type conversations or things.
No, I don't on purpose. Look at that Carolina game. Every time that the Bills they get so complacent and then they just look like terrible. Like they just get slow rolled into a bad game because they're complacent. But anytime they actually adjust and open up the playbook, they actually come out on fire in games. So
Can't
would
trust
be
them.
hesitant on that. Yeah.
Can't trust them. So just to wrap up the Bills nut, what do you've got? What actual bets are you looking at? So you've got Dawson Knox for an anytime touchdown.
We got the recap at the end to show it all for everybody. Dawson Knox anytime touchdown plus 380, and then first. I mean, just put like one small unit on Knox first touchdown.
First
Or
touchdown.
if anybody here is just looking for home runs, which
Right.
no matter what we say, people are just going to put in the parlay that pays them 100,000 to 1, whatever, right? I'd put maybe Knox anytime touchdown or the first touchdown at plus 1,700 as a base for some things that can really, if that happens, you're going to have a baseline to hitting a monster number.
Right.
It's very unlikely, but there you go.
So those are your Bills bets. The overreaction bet of the week. So this is the opposite of what this show potentially is, where everybody else is overreacting about a player. Dan likes to call this the one to stay away from. So let them overreact. Let them lose their money. Dan is going to point you to somebody to stay away from. The overreaction bet of this week is?
It's extra special pick this week. Gabe Davis.
Oh, yeah.
I have people DMing me talking about betting on Gabe Davis this week.
Yikes.
The Bills are known for like slowly integrating anybody into their offense and limiting anybody coming off of injuries or limiting snaps for anybody who's kind of new. They'll have maybe like one or two plays that are their guys play that's going to have for that game, but he's not coming in here and playing 60 snaps, guys.
Yep.
No way.
We've seen it in the past with John Brown. We've seen it in the past with Cole Beasley. We've seen the Bills bring back former wide receivers, and the expectation is like, yes, bring that guy back, get it back in the flow of things. Cole Beasley never even saw the field. I don't think he came.
Yeah, like third week in, they're finally like playing a little bit of a role. Their first game back, no way.
Yeah. So staying away from Gabe Davis this week, unless you're probably betting unders at that point in time. The underreaction bet of the week is the one guy or the two guys that nobody's paying attention to that you love. Who do you got?
I have two guys for this that I wanted to point out and just put them on the other bets that we put at the bottom because I wanted to highlight them both and give a little bit more of an explanation why.
Right.
The first guy I have is RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey's now a premier RB1 fantasy player in this league right now. And you're about to now his volume for betting this week is really down at 48.5 yards. I think that's super low for an RB1 on Denver, who has Bo Nix, who's been kind of struggling. They have to run the ball. Dobbins is out.
Yeah, on IR. J.K. Dobbins is on IR. My fantasy team is really upset about that.
The reason that's the Chiefs are great against the run, but any first team running back RB1 in a dogfight where they're just grinding it out, I think can get 48.5 yards.
Yeah.
So there's no volume on that. I wasn't going to make him the hammer because I still don't expect him to go for 102 touchdowns.
Right.
But 48.5 for a good team's first top running back.
48.5. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty low. And then another similar situation where there's not a lot of volume on a player this particular week that maybe it's Higgins. That's who I'm going to be talking about.
T. Higgins. Yep.
T. Higgins over 57.5. He's playing the Steelers again. Chase just went for 161 yards and 16 receptions against Pittsburgh.
Wow.
The weather's not going to be great. It's going to be 15, 20 mile an hour winds. I don't think there's precipitation. But Higgins also went for 95, 96 yards in this game. And I expect Pittsburgh, who just got shellacked by Flacco, just tossing it on little out routes to Chase all day, to slide some coverage over to Chase. And what happens in this situation? Higgins is going to be even more open. So his volume is down on both those players. I think both of them can grind out with their matchups decent weeks.
Yeah. So the overreaction bet, the bet to stay away from is Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills. Underreaction bet, two guys, RJ Harvey over 48.5, T. Higgins over 57.5, and moving us to the
we got a comment here that I
all right.
Chase Brown from Mike Laws.
Yep.
That seems pretty obvious, right? That would be for this particular game with bad weather in a mean dogfight, right? Go look at his lines. They juiced him like crazy for anything that Chase Brown has. So, yes, I think he should have a good football game. He should have a good fantasy football game for sure. But if you're actually looking at the numbers people are given,
right.
for betting,
Right.
I don't think that's beneficial for Chase Brown.
Right. Moving us into the hammer bet of the week, which is the one that you should hammer and put in every single parlay that you have. And you've been really consistent on the. Have you missed a hammer bet yet this year? Just one. So we are in week 11, and you have missed one hammer bet. So this is the most important name that he's going to give you. What do you got for us?
So, I mean, they give you the ability to just go through any bet of thousands that are available a week. Anybody who knows what they're doing should be able to consistently pick one, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else is going to be even talking about this week on any shows, or anybody that's listening to this would think about betting this player. I'm taking JJ McCarthy for a hammer this week over 215.5 yards. And there's a lot of reasons why. He looked decent coming back from injury. They are playing in a dome. They're playing against the Chicago Bears, and that's one of the absolute major reasons. The Chicago Bears give up a ton of yards passing. They are now a relatively premier offense. Chicago is. They're going to be throwing the ball downfield as well. I expect a little bit of scoring out of Chicago. Maybe Minnesota has to play some catch up. Jefferson's divaing it out a little bit right now, right? And anytime you got a diva, they want the ball. So maybe he starts to force it to Jefferson some. They have a really good number 2 in Addison. Clean weather. So it's hard to pick wide receivers and quarterbacks in these weather games. I'm always searching for dome games. They're playing in Minnesota. Home field. And again, Chicago is giving up yardage like crazy, right? They're a terrible passing defense. They're averaging 296 yards per game against them over the last 5 games.
Right.
So I'm taking, and McCarthy, I don't think he's a good quarterback. Who cares if he can throw 10 picks? Just get the yardage. That's all you need.
Yardage. Yep.
And
they're probably going to be playing some keep up. Just because the Bears offense has been pretty good this year so far. Like the Bears have done a good job of not boat racing, but outrunning some players that there are some teams that they've played against. And I would tell you as a Bills fan, I don't know that you're actually forcing the ball to Justin Jefferson. I think you're just throwing it to him because he's that good.
You're just throwing it to him more often. Yeah, he's good. He's open.
Because he's good. Maybe. And he can catch. He's open. He can catch. He can get separation.
Hey, maybe he comes available this offseason.
I doubt it. God forbid we have to give up a number one a first round draft pick in this year's draft.
7 of them for that one.
So moving on to other bets around the league that you like.
Well, we'll start with the early game in England again. For whatever reason, FanDuel's consistently giving this anytime touchdown bonus of 30% add-on. Last week we crushed that. It was one of our biggest hits of the week with Drake London. I think A-Chain makes a lot of sense. I'm just not on this show at least going to be. I don't have enough units to bet for me to put a ton of units to end up being minus 175. So even with the 30% bonus, A-Chain isn't paying a lot out. I think he probably gets a touchdown in that game. But Ertz is kind of a touchdown merchant for sure, and you get plus 242 on any time touchdown with Ertz in that game. So using the bonus, I want to. I took that for there. That Cincy game, Jaylen Warren went nuts against Cincinnati the last time they played. Jaylen Warren had 127 rushing yards, 4 receptions for 31 yards. His over-under is 100.5. There is a little bit of wind in that game, so I'd expect a little more. There's another line that I kind of like, a couple things in the Bills game specifically that, I weren't talking points earlier. They're giving you plus 410 for Khalil Shakir to be the leading receiver in the game. Now, I always analyze anything like this that's a higher payout. In what situation is he the number 1 receiver in the game? Basically, Mbuka isn't, right? If we double Mbuka and maybe let Tampa run all over us, who's realistically going to be the number 1 receiver for the Bills at that point? Pretty much, it's going to be them, right?
Somebody asked the question: is one RJK asks thoughts on Mbuka for an anytime touchdown?
My thought is I think that happens, but I also think the Bills are proven to at times over adjust when there is a blatantly obvious player that is dominating in the league.
That
yes.
Guy. Yeah.
So then we move coverage. We go way over the top, watching him, double, triple him. We create a scheme that actually stops him, and then we let their running backs go all over. Or tight end go nuts, just running straight down the field. So because I think that can happen, I did not really mention Mbuka much because I think there is a realistic situation that the Bills actually shut him down, but other people vastly benefit because of it.
Right, for sure. 100%. So moving on to Tampa's longest field goal.
This is a really deep thought out bet here. Tampa longest field goal in the game. Here's why. First off, Prater is dinged up. They're not going to bust out Prater from over 45, 46 yards.
Right.
Got a little bit of weather there. And the Buffalo Bills, what do? They get over the 50 towards the 40-yard line, and they consistently go for it on fourth down right there.
Right.
They're known for doing that.
Right.
And lately, they just go for it on fourth down and miss it and give it to the other team, right? So I anticipate that happens, and instead Tampa kicks a field goal long, and I think I'm always looking for little edges, right? Prater's kind of dinged up. Is he going to really go for a 50-yarder? I don't think so.
Little easy wins to throw into your parlays, right?
Yep.
And keep your parlays small. Don't go with 20 leg parlays. So 4 to 6 legs, right? So
3 and 4 I've been doing very well with. If you're outlining or you're going for a real home run, 6 and under, okay. But I've been doing very well with 3 and 4 leg parlays. Rams Seahawks have potential to be a real shootout. I do not like over-unders a lot, but that line just seems really low at 48.5 for two teams that we know can throw the ball. And in the situation that game's a shootout, then Devontae Adams should have a game. I think he's really built up something with Stafford now. You've got Puka Nacua back, who's going to be taking some coverage off of Adams. I think he can get a long ball. Back to the Rams Seahawks game though, if you can buy that over under down to 48, because the difference between 48 and 49 is actually pretty big in betting.
Right.
So if you can get that down, pay an extra minus 110 to minus 120 instead, and bet it at 48, if you can move that. And then another game that might be a shootout is that the Raiders versus Dallas game. That game, or at least is going to have some yardage in the game, right? You got two quarterbacks who do throw the ball downfield a ton. Who knows how many turnovers are in this game? But same game parlays are so common, and you get extra bonus odds or bonus bets all over the place on same game parlays, right? So if I was doing a same game parlay this week, I would be taking the likes of your Bowers, CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, and Ferguson, the 4 best receiving targets in that game.
Right.
I would do the alt line, which I lower the numbers of everybody by 20, 30%, put them all in one bet, and bet that as my same game parlay plus 300, plus 400, plus 500. And I have done that all year long with the Dallas Cowboys, when they played the Giants, when they played the Bears, when they played basically anybody, because they're top guys. Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson every week are at least producing middle of the road. So they're working really well with all lines.
Very, very good. Good stuff, Dan. So just to recap, the other bets that Dan likes,
these again? Sure,
throw them up there real quick. Use the bonuses. Ertz plus 242 with a 30% bonus. Jalen Warren over 105 rushing and receiving. Shakir most receiving yards in that game at plus 410. Tampa Bay with the longest field goal in that game, which completely your reasoning made perfect sense to me. Rams versus Seahawks over 48.5. Buy to 48. Devontae Adams over 61.5. Bowers, CeeDee, George Pickens, and Ferguson, same game parlay, alternate line lower. Good stuff, Dan. Before I get us out of here, any final thoughts?
I don't think I need to be on social media until after this Bills game. I'm not going to tweet during it. I'm probably not going to say much to many people going into the game. I'm angry. I am. I'm this isn't the most affected in my personal life I've had in years is the Bills right now. So I just go win this football game, stay healthy, and start to stack wins and look like you guys can compete at this point and get your mojo back somehow, some way. I don't know if Josh just needs to take over, say, screw this playbook, screw whatever. I'm just going to go be me, but just get back to your roots a little bit and go grind out a win versus a team that looks really good on film sometimes, and under the lights, but they keep losing every middle of the road game. So just go get a win.
So yes, enjoy the football games tomorrow, this week of games and bets. Please bet responsibly. Again, you don't have to bet. And again, if you need help, if you've got a problem, please seek it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into Week 11, NFL Week 11 of the Mafia Bets program here on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. So good to have you guys tomorrow. The Overreaction post-game show, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Monday, Off Tackle with John Fina. The Salins Off Tackle with John Fina show. Tuesday, On the Beat, and Wednesday, 7 days to Sunday. So good to have every single one of you join us. For me, for John, for Jerry, for Dan, for Ant, for Zig. Is that everybody? I don't know. For all of us here at Overreaction Sports, appreciate you guys. Love you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.